My daughter's grandparents want custody. I am not the op. Original post is by you, Rock Fluffy 7995 in R. True off my chest. TW. Death. Less than. Mood spoiler. Positive outcome. Less than. Editor's note. Oop used acronyms to name the people in this story. But I've gone ahead and added names instead. B became Beth, and so on. Since I find that much easier to read. // Original, Sept. 30. 2022. My daughter's grandparents want custody. For a little backstory. I, 31M, met Beth, 30F, when we were in middle school. We became quick friends and saw each other every day. We did everything together and made a pact to always help each other. Like she would help me talk to girls and I made sure she was safe at bars. She was the kindest person I knew and was my person. When we were in college, Beth got pregnant with Jenny, 7F, from her boyfriend at the time. She was excited at first, but her parents and the father were against her having the baby. Beth stood firm that she wanted to keep it. Because of this, Jenny's father left her saying he wasn't ready to be a father and never came back, and her parents threw her out and told her to not come back. It was a very hard time, but I told her I'd never leave her. So we moved in together and we decided to do it together like everything else we did. The day Jenny was born was probably the best day of my life. I'll never forget the first time I saw that girl's eyes, and even though she wasn't mine, I felt like I was hers. I was her uncle until she started calling me Dad, which we took as a joke. But we really never stopped her. Our little family was unconventional, but it was ours. 2 months ago Beth was killed in a car accident. It was the worst day of my life. Beth and I were never together. But she was my soulmate, my better half, my everything. She was the best mother and person I've ever known. I still can't completely describe the way I feel. Immediately, I became Jenny's legal guardian. It's been hard to adjust to it just being me. And I am so lost but want to do my best for Jenny. Which brings me to last night, when Beth's parents showed up at my door wanting to see Jenny. They want to be part of Jenny's life and regret what they did to Beth. Which I completely understand. But last night they told me that they think it's best if they take legal custody of Jenny because they're real family. They hadn't been involved in Jenny's life at all before then and only met her for the first time at Beth's funeral. I didn't know what to say and told them to leave, which made them angry, and they told me they want to keep talking about it or they'll take me to court. I've been so anxious all night and I can't sleep. I've been Googling to see if it's possible for them to even take her just like that. She's my baby and I'm the family she's always known. Beth and I never really talked about the legality of my role, because I was just her dad, plain and simple. But maybe we should have. I don't know who to turn to or what to do. I never thought I'd do any of this alone. I'm just scared and I miss Beth so much. / Update Sept. 5. 2023. Update: my daughter's grandparents want custody. I'm sorry it's been so long and that I never updated. After I posted that thread last year, I read the comments, made my notes, and frankly I just forgot about it. I intended to come back and update, but I didn't feel like there was enough to say. And then it slipped my mind. I had more important things to do, helping my daughter adjust and just trying to stay sane. But after the anniversary of Beth's death, along with the news I'm sharing below, I remembered and felt really bad. So I'm sorry for not coming back. Before I give my update, I wanted to clear some things up. We don't live in the continental United States. Beth's parents, let's call them Mary and Larry, are really devout Catholics and couldn't stand that she had relations outside of a marriage, and especially since Jenny's dad took himself out of the equation. That's why they kicked Beth out. I have been co-parenting Jenny for her whole life and contributed 50% of everything. I am committed to give that girl a good life. My parents have always been supportive and have been pivotal in this whole ordeal. They saw Beth as a daughter and see Jenny as a granddaughter. It's nice to have them. I had always been labeled as a caregiver in her school records. I held her when she was born, birthdays, her little kindergarten graduation, her first trip to Disney. I have pictures of it all. There are none with Mary or Larry in them. Beth purposefully threw away everything she had of them. Not that she had much to begin with. I had been dating someone at the time when everything started, but I realized I didn't have the emotional bandwidth to be good to her. And I needed to prove stability in my home life. She understood and we ended things respectfully. We may reconnect someday, but my love life is not my priority. I talked with Jenny about the situation and, from the start, she understood what they are to her. It broke my heart to hear her say, "Why would they do that to mommy?" Jenny and me are in therapy right now. While I am not 100%, I know that I have to be strong for Jenny. But here's the update. After reading your comments, I did exactly like some of you said. I talked with her school and told them what was happening. I've known the staff there for years. My mom is a school counselor. And they were so good about Beth's death. Anyway, I told them that I, and only I, was allowed to pick her up from school. Thankfully the grandparents never tried anything like taking her. They have not been allowed to spend time with or around her. And that was on Jenny's request. I respect her wants. They did send her Christmas and birthday presents, but I hid them. I didn't know if accepting something from them would hurt this situation. I haven't given them to her yet. It's been so long I'm not sure I will at this point. After my post, I talked with some lawyers around the city. Honestly, I spent a lot of money on this. But it was way worth it. Beth had a will and requested for Jenny to be cared for by me upon her death. She never told me this and I still don't exactly understand it. But it was a really happy surprise. My lawyer honored that and helped me. I took a loan out, but the debt is worth it. I compiled everything I could. Pictures, permission slips, stupid school mail, everything. Grandparents tried to fight me the whole way through, calling social services and talking to all of my neighbors, trying to find anything possible to prove I was a bad father. It was brutal and messed up. I don't think I'll ever recover for the past year. I could deal with the attacks on my character and them scrutinizing everything I've ever done as if Mary and Larry have always cared. However, in April, once Jenny came into the conversation and was asked awful questions about me, I couldn't help but double down. Part of me is embarrassed and ashamed that I begged. At the meeting, after Jenny was taken out of the room, all I could do was cry. I said something like, "Please, I beg of you, think about Jenny here. Take you and me out of the equation. Take what you did to Beth out of the equation. Jenny does not deserve this. Think about her, please. If you want to make it up to Beth, as you say, think about what's best for Jenny. I've loved her for her whole life. I've been there. I've held her. She is everything to me. I know you have regret. Be good now. Love Beth now. Respect her wishes. Please." The next part is probably anticlimactic. But dear reader, can you believe that it worked? Larry looked down at his hands in what I can only describe as shame and asked to speak with the lawyer privately. When I came back, Larry admitted that they had made a mistake all those years ago, and it wasn't until Beth's death that he realized it. He was tired of fighting. Mary didn't seem too happy, but they dropped everything. Since then, we've had no contact. I guess guilt runs deep. But on to the good news. Last month it became official. I am now legally Jenny's father. I had been working on the adoption since Christmas. I can't begin to describe how happy this makes me. Jenny has been getting better and is slowly getting back to her usual bright self. But I can see moments when she shuts down, like sadness washing over her. That worries me. But we're working with a therapist on this. I still miss Beth and I will miss her every day of my life. All I can do to honor her is to make sure Jenny has a home and is loved beyond measure. I will tell Jenny about her mom and how every time she smiles, I see her. Thank you for all of the messages and the comments. I am sorry I did not respond to them before. Thank you for your support and your faith in me. It means a lot to be supported, even if by some people in the void of the internet. Edit. Thank you for your comments below. I'm going to try to respond to them this time. ///// Marked as concluded. Since OOP officially has custody now. Reminder, I am not the original poster. Don't forget that commenting on the original posts is not allowed. Sad thing is, Larry and Mary perhaps could have had a ghost of a chance at a relationship with Jenny if they had approached OP in a spirit of apology and reconciliation. Grief and loss works in strange ways, and of course OP wouldn't have to retroactively forgive them for how they abandoned their daughter and granddaughter, especially if it was Beth's wish that Jenny have no contact with Larry and Mary. But if there'd been any indication of a true change of heart, maybe, just maybe, they could begin to work on building that trust and contact. But they just couldn't summon a shred of humility until it was too late and more damage was done. Now they get to mourn the daughter they threw away and the granddaughter they'll never have. What a good man. He and Jenny are lucky to have each other. And I am so sorry for their loss. The pain of the premature death of someone you love with all your heart is devastating. I wish them both the best in getting through this. This one seems more real than most, simply because it took 358 days to resolve the issue with all the lawyers and red tape. Not 16 days. Glad the daughter will get to stay with her rightful now parent. The amount of people that are happy to sail through life without thinking about the legal stuff is insane to me. Make a will. And if you have a will, make sure you let your loved ones know it exists. And especially if you have children, and doubly so for if there are complicated family relationships. You need to make sure you have any future custody elements locked down. I want this to be true. I want the world to have good people like this. My children's father passed away at the beginning of this year. His parents, their grandparents, haven't spoken to or asked about their grandkids since the day after he died. And they were actively in their lives until that day. Some people are just putrid. The sheer cruelty of it is what gets me. To deliberately try to take a child away from her father when her mother has just died. Her world has already been shattered. Now they're trying to shatter it again and take her away from everything she knows in the name of blood relations. It's selfish and cruel, and I hope they came to realize that and feel appropriate shame. I'm crying. Family is in the loving. It's in the support. It's in the banalities of days. I'm glad for OOP and Jenny. I'll never forget the first time I saw that girl's eyes, and even though she wasn't mine, I felt like I was hers. Every time I read one of those awful Boris where a man discards the child he has raised for 10 years because it isn't his, I'm going to remember this man and know that there are good, mature people out there. I like this happy ending, and I choose to believe it full-heartedly. There is no greater hate than Christian love. I'm happy to hear that at least Larry understood what they were doing. Larry and Mary never saw Jenny as anything but a do-over of Beth, and they absolutely proved they'd fail her even worse than they failed their now-deceased daughter. They attacked a grieving child's father and heaped further trauma onto her because of their Selfishness. Anyone else disguised that grandparents used social services? My guess is CPS. To make their case? The comment about them talking to neighbors and his daughter being asked about this stuff is disgusting. Rot in hell, Larry and Mary. I cried a little reading this. People can be good sometimes. What a bittersweet story. I am glad Mary and Larry did not get the baby. Awful people. I'm Catholic. And I four-letter word hate how many so-called Catholics treat people because of our religion. I've been taught nothing that would justify this behavior. And I did 9 years in Catholic school. So glad Oop and Jenny got to be a legal family. Thank you SJDude13 for filling out the single-letter acronyms. I hate when Redditors do that. Ugly crying in the bathroom. So I can sleep now. Thankfully you have this baby's back and Beth is so thankful for what you are doing. She chose the right man. You're an amazing human. You deserve the best life has. Forrest?
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.